Hey everybody, before we get started today, I want to give a quick shout out to Famous Brands. That's Famous B-R-A-N-D-Z. Now, Famous Brands is blowing up the smoking accessory space with scorching hot sellers from the biggest names in entertainment. Through their relationships with major media partners, they have been able to brand their own products with relatable characters that you know and love. I'm talking Cheech and Chong, Trailer Park Boys, my homies Jay and Silent Bob, and Snoop Dogg's exclusive line of glass, Snoop Pounds. Now, strong brands and collaborations are at the core of their success, and the founders have over 20 years in the smoking accessory industry, and they've come together to deliver the strongest and most well-known brands on the market. Working with top celebrities and film studios, they offer the largest array of mainstream smoking products. Now, their clients are treated like family, and they aim to exceed our expectations, and they are continuously developing new products and brands that matter to us, the consumer. Now, join today. Go over to famousbrands.com. You can also follow them on Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. And just to give you a little idea of some of the products they carry, I'm talking regular accessories from papers and from little trays. They got grinders, bubblers, hand pipes, water pipes, vaporizers, scales, jars, and once again, with some of the coolest names in the business. They have brands Snoop Dogg, Cheech and Chong, Trailer Park Boys, Jay and Silent Bob, Famous X. They got fucking Hellboy, Beach Bum starring Matthew McConaughey. You want that same gas mask that Matthew McConaughey's rocking? Go to famousbrandswithaz.com. Get it for yourself. Tell them Hi and Hello sent you. Orders over $50 get free domestic shipping. famousbrands.com. Get your smoke on. Hey kids, hi and hello. Welcome to another episode. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing fan-fucking-tastic. Today's guest is a buddy I've known for a couple years now. We worked together originally at a Radio Shack, but we'll get more into that in the conversation. Kids, for you wondering what's Radio Shack, it was pretty much a components store, and if you're wondering what components are, just fucking Google it, man. It was a lot of fun. We had a store that had no cameras in it, and the boss barely was ever there. So it was literally like kids running a camp, and I couldn't ask for cooler coworkers. Fuck, I ended up marrying one of my coworkers there. But that's another story. A few things before we get this episode going. 1, don't forget to follow us over on Facebook, Instagram. 2, if you want to promote anything on this show, just fucking email it to us, and we will pimp it out for you. I don't give a fuck. If you have products that you want to send to us, that's even cooler. You can hit us up at hiandhellopodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram, Hi and Hello Podcast, Facebook, Hi and Hello Podcast. We don't do Twitter. We've said that 1,000 times. I'm thinking about starting a motherfucking TikTok. I'm not going to be doing more than just saying, yo, follow us here, here, and here, but I've been really thinking about TikTok lately, and I think that's going to be one of the bigger pops because there's a lot of kids on TikTok. So, I guess without further ado, let's get into it. A new episode of Hi and Hello starts in 3, 2, 1. That's kind of a lame snap. There it is. I barely remember the world without like some kind of at-home internet access, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still a little foggy to me. Do you remember what was like the first website you started going to on the regular? Like once you had at-home internet?
Newgrounds.com.
What was it?
Newgrounds.com.
Was that a video game site or what?
Yeah, you could play video games on there. They had porn-related video games, regular video games, and then they also had adult video games, like some for children, some for adults. And I mean the adult video games. Like one of my favorites was called Chainsaw the Children.
Chainsaw the Children.
Yeah, you dress as this buff dude with a skull mask on, and you have a chainsaw. The objective is to juggle them. So you have to juggle the children with the chainsaw. The more juggling you do, the longer the game goes on. So they're running away. You're on a remote island. It's a side-scrolling game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's called Chainsaw the Children.
When I was a kid, I went on a similar site. I can't remember exactly what the name was, but the game that I love the most. Oh, just careful tapping on the table, just because it'll shake some shit. One of the games I remember was a game called Kitty Catapult, and it was giant fucking slingshot, and they would load it up with a cat that was so fucking scared. This adorable little animated cat. And as you kept pulling back the slingshot, the cat's eyes would get bigger, and it would look at you like, "What are you doing? Like, what is the plan?" And there's just a wall with like 4 kitten-sized holes and a bunch of spikes and shit, and you would try to slingshot them in through the hole, and obviously you wouldn't want it. You just wanted to see a cat fucking splat. Dude, that was the kind of video game where I would be like, yeah, maybe that game would fuck with you. But I've never done anything dumb because of a video game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I played. That's some shit I would probably have played in my youth, but it's not gonna affect. I'm not gonna actually catapult a cat across into a fucking wall of spikes or into a wall in general.
Restrictions are so insane to me. Like the fact that I get movie restrictions and like game restrictions because of like kids and stuff, but like I don't know, I played some pretty fucked up shit, man. Like I played Grand Theft Auto that I got from my cousins, and I was just telling somebody recently on PlayStation 4 I got the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, where it's like San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 3, and Vice City. Nice. And I was just wrecking house, dude. Like, I'm a pretty humble guy. Like, if you meet me on the street, I'll say hi and, like, be nice to you. But in Grand Theft Auto, I'm a fucking demon, dude. Right. Like, I drive on the sidewalk for no reason. I'll just go around the old folks' home block, like, 10 times and just pop, pop. It's fucking insane.
Just killing anyone on the street.
Right.
They did have, in San Andreas, they had a mayhem mod, where just everyone's fighting each other on the street. And then you can also add another mod on top of that where everyone has heavy weapons. So people using rocket launchers, people using explosives, C4, like assault rifles. They have some of the best of the best weapons. That was my favorite because I mean you could literally drive around the whole map and people are fighting everywhere.
I was genuinely shocked when I remembered the cheat codes. It was like R1, R2, L1, R2, like left down, right up, left down, right up. Mm. Just so many years of not fucking having a PlayStation 2, not playing the game, and having that memory like perfectly lodged in my brain. It was fucking great, dude.
Yeah, that's gamer's memory.
Right and then in San Andreas, when you put the same code in, the thing is what they changed for San Andreas compared to Vice City was you get like $50,000 every time you do a cheat code. Mm-hmm. And in like 3 days, it was just 9s across the board, dude. Yeah. I was just standing outside of businesses waiting for the little blue house to turn red and be like, yep, mine, later.
Buy all the property.
Oh, so quick. Grand Theft Auto 3, though, was kind of a fucking trip, dude, because it was so far back to where, like, it's so shoddy for the actual graphics and the controls. So, like, you're trying to just actually aim, and you're like, fuck, auto lock. And they didn't have auto lock, so it's just like, It was awful.
Free aim can be a little tough in Grand Theft Auto 3. It's and especially when you're able to lock onto someone, you're a little spoiled with that. It's kind of what you want the whole time. That's what I love about San Andreas. Like the shooting mechanics in it is actually really good.
Who showed you your first like video game experience? Like do you recall like watching kids play video games at a certain point, or getting to play yourself finally holding a controller?
I don't remember watching any kids. I don't remember what the first console was I played on. It may have been a Nintendo 64. I think that was the first one that I actually owned. Well,
that was mine as well, though. Like that was my first system.
Yeah, I've played on like a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis. I've definitely played on. I've never owned one.
My cousins, I always remembered them being like maybe 10 to 11, and I was like 3 or 4, give or take, maybe 5. And they would all play on this little fucking, like, a screen the size of this ashtray, you know what I mean? And the back of it's, like, 5 feet wide. But they would play Inspector Gadget on, like, Super Nintendo, and I just remember that being the coolest fucking thing. But they would never let anyone under, like, 7. We had 13 cousins in my family. Damn. And, yeah, it was my dad has 4 sisters, so it was 5 kids. But they all had kids. Like, each one of them had, like, 3 or 4 kids, And so there was just being at the bottom of that totem pole fucking sucked, dude.
You can't
like
play
it was
games.
Awful. Oh yeah, like all the great shit they got to experience. Oh, man, it's pissed me off. But they also got like rap CDs and shit super early because I could never just get like an Eminem LP or like the Slim Shady LP. That's the first time I heard old Marshall Mathers was because of a cousin. Just fucking corrupting my youth. Yeah. Yeah. And then I had another cousin on my mom's side of the family who had like Tupac and Biggie and like fucking so many different artists to where my music sense got fucking blown open wide. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto has been a trip lately, man. What's your favorite game?
I would have to say Mass Effect.
Yeah?
Yeah, Mass Effect would definitely have to be mine. There's a lot of controversies about revolving it. But see, I don't include what the producers and the directors, like what they did with the game itself. Like the general story of it and how I would see it play out I love it. I just love it, like front and back. Have you played Mass Effect at all?
I was going to say, I haven't played in a while, but for the folks listening, give a little example of like what the story is, the overarch.
Right, so in Mass Effect, it's been colonies have been established in outer space, and you've met different races of aliens, and they've all we've established what's called a kind of like our intergalactic government, and there's a representative from each race that goes there, and there's they each one has their own military, but with the aliens, one of them is called the Asari. They're very intelligent, but they also have biotic power, so they can control matter. Solarians are also very intelligent, but they're great at hacking, and they can use technical powers. So you play as someone named Commander Shepard. They never say his first name, because the first name you can actually make it whatever you want, but they always call you Shepard. And he ultimately becomes what's called a Spectre. And a Spectre is that's what you would consider a special agent in the military, special forces. There you go, special forces in the military. But Spectres, they have their own branch of military so they follow rules separately from anyone else. But on top of that, they get access to the best equipment, shit that only others can get on the black market. They do get the toughest missions, it's the life or death missions
right.
at times. And so what happens? Shepard successfully becomes a Spectre. But there's these beings in a galaxy called Reapers, and apparently every 50 million years, or 50,000, I can't remember which one it is, but the Reapers come and they wipe out all life. They don't care, and they're robots. They're sentient beings. None of them.
They hit the reset button.
Yeah,
okay.
And now this happens to happen around the time that Shepard's alive, and he ends up uncovering the story behind the Reapers, and ultimately tries to find a way to prevent everything from happening. It is a role-playing game, so you can choose what happens at the end. To some extent, everyone could die, or it could be the kind of thing where you save everyone and everything all is well. The Reaper, you're able to defeat the Reapers and they're no longer around. Or you can also take control. And there was 5 different endings, but there's also 3 different games, so it is a trilogy.
Dude, you just put
4 technically.
That just put such a weird fear in me, because hearing it, because I haven't really played it. I think I played one of the sequels in the franchise for a little bit, but I didn't have a system for a certain amount of time. When special Halo or Mass Effect or some of these bigger titles that have just they're legendary in video gaming. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a system at the time for those, so I never really got a chance to really jump back in the catalog. But I'll have to do that. I really want to check this out now.
Yeah, Mass Effect is definitely worth playing. The first one, the graphics are just fucking terrible. Gameplay is terrible.
Yeah.
But the story is amazing, with what happens.
That's usually how it is, though, man. They can put a great fucking story into it, even if they have just a little bit of money. You know what I mean? That really shows the work all and the fucking dedication of it. And
the crazy thing is, the second one they made, the graphics are completely different, much better. I love the gameplay for Mass Effect 2. Not many people like it. It tends to have a lot of glitches, based on how they design the gameplay, but otherwise it's great. And then with Mass Effect 3, it was even better. It's they've got better with each game they made. In Mass Effect 3, it was so fluid.
What game were you so excited for, and it was the biggest fucking letdown?
Let's see.
He's thinking long and hard on this one.
Are we talking current or?
I mean, just you've been a gamer for a minute. What was a game that you're I'm fucking stoked for this, and then it came out, and you're like, God damn it. God damn it.
Oh shit! There's been a handful of Call of Duties. Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare. I have played a lot of the Call of Duty. I'm a huge fan of Call of Duty and Battlefield as well. I've loved all the Battlefields. But for the most part, I usually only play games that I actually know I'm going to like. Whenever I find out about a game that's coming out, if it's related to something I know about, then I usually do a lot of research on it, because I want to find out if it's going to be worthwhile. Sometimes I don't even pre-order it. I wait until people have bought it, and then They test it out, and if it actually has good reviews, then I'll probably buy it. If not, I don't. Like Anthem. I was hyped for Anthem. Have you heard of it? It's a EA game.
Anthem. No, what's the plot?
Anthem. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's based on you play as humans. I think the people you play as are engineers. I believe you're on Earth, but it would be like what's left of Earth after like an apocalyptic war, like war between everyone, and ultimately destroyed a place. And nature pretty much took over. Grass has been growing over everything. You use these exosuits. The person you play, I believe, is just like an engineer trying to survive with his group of people. But there are bandits out there that also use exosuits, but there's also monsters as well that you have to fight. It's have you played Destiny?
Yes.
It's very similar to Destiny.
Oh, okay.
Except for Destiny, I think you actually do. You're in a different planet. You travel to different planets and shit. And this, you're on this one planet. But it looked amazing. This like what they could have potentially done with it looked amazing, despite it being similar to Destiny. But apparently, it was a huge flop. The long loading times for white screens, which is a huge factor outside of actual gameplay, repetitive gameplay. Repetitive weapons, not a large selection of weapons, nor a large selection of missions. Apparently, like the raids that there's only like 1 or 2 raids, and you just have to do it over and over again. There's not a lot of missions. Once you beat the game, that's it, and you just keep doing raids. But it's the same thing. They haven't been adding content a lot, and there's just never was a lot of content to start with.
Right.
So if you want to upgrade, you have to either pay to do it quicker, or you have to just keep playing the same raid and just grind it up. It gets boring. It gets repetitive.
Did you watch this year's E3?
Some of it, not all of it.
I heard it was one of the most lame E3s that have kind of happened lately. Really wasn't much that dropped out. Didn't they? Wasn't there a big debacle because they released what was it? Was it Doom Mobile or something? Did you hear about that? There was something that was supposed to release like console version, and they were going mobile game.
I think I did look into a game. Was it Alien? I believe it was Alien actually.
Was it?
I believe it was Alien because I did remember seeing a game that I thought was going to be on a console. So when I went to the website, it turned out to be a mobile game. I immediately, fuck this. I just closed all the pages.
Yeah.
So I think it was Alien, but yeah, fuck whatever that was.
Somebody sent me this link, and it was basically like the keynote speaker up on stage. Fuck, for the life of me, I wish I could remember the game, guys. Sorry about this. But yeah, the guy's out there on stage, and he's like, "Are you all fucking ready?" And like all these people in like a Hall H are like, "Yeah, like give us our fucking game," And then he's like, "We're gonna be launching on Samsung, Google, and Apple products," and everyone's like, "What?" And they're like, "We're going tablet and we're going mobile." And they're like, "You motherfucker!" Like the whole crowd turned, dude. There was audible booing for like 7 minutes, and this guy just had to stand there just watching them. It was awful. What do you think's the best console, or do you think PC beats it? Do you think PC trumps console?
The reason PC will always beat a console, and in my opinion, well, to some extent, because some people buy PCs that are pre-built, and the nice thing about a PC compared to a console as well is you can buy a cheap gaming console and max it out. So you can put the maximum amount of RAM, the best processor possible, and then it will most likely be a better processor and better RAM than what's in a console. Because here's the thing about electronics. RAM, CPU, GPU, 3 main things. They're in consoles, they're in PCs. GPUs in PCs, sometimes they're built onto the board, not typically, or usually on consoles they are. But they're usually a graphics card that you actually plug into one of the PCIe slots, and it'd have like an HDMI port on the end of it. Typically it's HDMI. But
him die one, him die one.
Him die one, him die two.
Him die one and him die two.
But because you can do that automatically trumps. I don't like saying that word.
I don't like saying it either, man. There's got to be like a better way to put it.
But seriously, it automatically is better than consoles, because with consoles, even if they put great stuff in the consoles, that's it. You can't upgrade any of it, so it's never going to be better than what it is. But in my opinion, I think the Xbox One is a better console.
Really?
For one, because with a little bit of background knowledge, I actually have worked on a lot of PS4s, and they tend to fail on their own. There's at least the regular PS4 model. I've encountered at least 5 different models of the PS4 that were all bought in the U.S.
Oh, shit.
And each of them have problems that made them unrepairable. The thing about a console is you can't replace the motherboard. So if something happens to the graphics card, which is on the motherboard, goodbye console.
No shit.
And that has happened a lot. The graphics card has failed a lot on PS4s, the early model. The slim model I haven't seen often, although I did see one recently, and its motherboard failed. So I know that came out after the full-size PS4. So this might be a time in which they start getting affected. It's the kind of thing that might start happening 4 or 5 years down the road.
Wow.
I still have my 360. I've had that shit forever. And it's slow, but it works great. I've never changed the hard drive on it, and I still use it to this day.
Jess still has her original Nintendo Game Boy and then the Nintendo Game Boy Color, and she's got all of her original Pokemons, and like she keeps them in like the freezer or some shit, man. We read some kind of article where it's like how to preserve, or she did at some point.
What are they, game cartridges?
What's up? Yeah, so she's had like the game cartridges perfectly preserved from however the internet says you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, you really shouldn't put that in the freezer.
Yeah, I don't think it's the freezer. Like it's like cryogenically fucking being on ice like Disney. She has them like perfectly put away in the like ideal conditions, and occasionally she'll like pop one in and like even turn on the system with like fresh batteries each time. Like she obviously has the batteries out so they don't corrode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of wild. I don't have any of my old systems because I was the oldest kid. So as my younger siblings were being born, they would get like the last gen, and then eventually I'd get the new gen. You know what I mean? But when I get the new gen, they get the last gen. And then after it kind of fell all the way down through my siblings, it was like cousins and shit. So like, yeah, I have no idea like where any of my original stuff was. Like all my Pokemon cards and like all my baseball cards and basketball cards, like all the shit that was important to me when I was like fucking 7 to maybe 12 is gone.
Oh,
like I don't have a Toy Story. You know what I mean?
I actually gave all my shit away.
Did you?
I gave it away to cousins,
right.
nieces, nephews, whoever happened to be around at the time. I just gave it all away to them.
But I'm just saying, like looking back, do you know how fucking dope it would be if we had every game and system and controller?
Well,
like,
not system and consoles.
I'm just saying, like if we had like a nice set. I don't know. I think about that often, but it's expensive now to get some of that old stuff.
Yeah,
that shit's pricey.
In my opinion, it's not even worthwhile to get it. If I'm going to get an old console, it's because I want to play it. I'm definitely going to use it.
I was off Belmont and I was looking at old consoles like N64 and Sega Genesis, and I was at the exchange and they wanted like $90 for a fucking N64, and I was like, yeah. And then I went around the corner to People Play Games, and they fucking hooked it up, man. It was like $50. And their games are pretty cheap, so if anyone's out and about, check them out. You know what? I realized we totally skipped the fucking intro because we've been going now for like 20 minutes. Folks, welcome to another episode of High and Hello. I hope you're all doing well. We're having a blast over here. I'm kicking it with an old coworker of mine, old Mr. Bobby B.
Happy to be here.
Bobby, me and you know each other, what, about 5 years or so? 6 years?
Shit, I don't remember. When did that shit show shut down?
Right? We met at a Radio Shack back when those were still a thing. And the best part of the job when we were there, in my opinion, was that there was no fucking cameras.
Yeah.
There was no cameras in the front, the back, like anywhere. It was just a complete fresh terrain. And we literally were just kids in we were kids at camp without a counselor.
It got better when the PC came in.
Well, yeah, when we got that sweet we got like 3 or 4 computers where we were able to actually fucking do some gaming on. That was pretty sweet. But also, like, that was fucking awesome, man. It was like every day of work when we didn't have the manager because the manager was constantly in rotation and, like, getting fired and shit.
Didn't give a fuck. Laurel
didn't give a fuck either, yep. And fucking, dude, it was nuts just because I've literally never had a job that was so like, dude, they shouldn't have paid us, man. We didn't do anything.
That shit was wild.
But you know who I still see till this day? Every Sunday at about 3 a.m.
Who's this?
I can't say her name legally, I think, but she was the woman who would always come in to get a new like cassette player or radio because she ran all the time. She looked like a human egg.
Oh, I've dealt with her once. I know you're talking about.
WJ's her initials, if that helps you. Yeah, dude, she's still alive. And folks, this person runs the length. She runs like 29 miles, give or take, every morning, and she's got to be 75. And she was the worst fucking customer. At this job we had, the customers we dealt with in this college neighborhood / kind of like hoity-toity. Like Jerry Springer's relatives lived in the neighborhood. Like that was weird seeing old Jerry Springer.
I've never actually seen him.
You've never actually seen him?
I didn't get to see him, but yeah, he tends to be all around Chicago.
He's just kicking it in khaki shorts and tall white socks, man. He's got fresh New Balances every time we see him.
I probably helped him and didn't recognize it was him.
I've had friends tell me that he's rolled up to like basketball courts in like questionable parts and be like, "Can I get a pickup?" And they're like, "Get on here, Jerry." Yeah, he just rolls.
Trying to get dunked on.
Who trying to get dunked on?
In the name of reality TV. Who wants this heat?
Dude, have you noticed? Do you keep up with Netflix and Hulu and shit like that?
Not with Netflix, but I do use Hulu and Prime Video.
So I got Netflix and Hulu, and they're now making game shows for these streaming sites. Have you seen any of the game shows that have been popping up lately on
Hulu? I have.
Did you see Holy Moly?
I haven't watched them.
Have you heard of Holy Moly?
No.
Dude, it's like American Ninja Warrior meets fucking putt-putt. And it's people trying to do a putt-putt course with just insane obstacles. And like the first episode, the first woman who is like, I'm gonna like start the game, she hits this through a giant windmill, and then she has to walk over to this windmill, and the fucking blades are just like to the ground, like to her ankles, and swinging fast as shit. And she's trying to like jump through it, and dude, she misses and gets clipped, and it like spins her around, and then the next one comes down and just fucking launches her like 10 feet off a 5-foot platform into a bunch, dude, just to the ground. It just knocked this old woman across the fucking course.
Holy shit.
And she gets up and she's fucking concussed, and she's like, how do I get back up there? Like, she can't even fucking figure out where she's at.
They're still trying to play?
Dude, they don't even like put her around it. She has to go through it again, and she gets fucking knocked in, and then she fucking hits the ball.
She signed a waiver before
Dude,
she got it.
It's insane. But Netflix has got one right now that absolutely blew my fucking mind. It's called Awake, okay? Now, how long do you think you've stayed up consistently over your life? What do you think is the longest amount of time you actually spent without sleeping?
I'd say like 14 hours. At least
so like
times.
a 12 to the next day, like 14 hours?
No, more like a start tripping at 6 o'clock and then stay up until the next afternoon and then eventually crash.
That's fair.
I've had a few trips in which I've a few 10-hour trips and then just awake afterwards.
Before we end the pod, we gotta talk about my favorite piece of artwork in our house. We'll get to it.
Oh God!
Yeah, but
dreams.
Awake is the name of the show. All right. And they keep people up for 24 hours, okay? In the middle of the room is a giant tank filled with quarters, all right? There has to be at least 1 million, 2 million in quarters, all right? Now, people get a giant bag, and they go over and they scoop quarters into their bag, and then they take it back to their seat. And they put 6 people in a room at a table with, like, Apple Store lighting, so it's super bright, and no windows, all right? And there's, like, coffee in the corner, there's energy drinks, there's like some food, like they keep them alive, but that's the test, all right, is count as many quarters as you can. And there's people sitting there like talking shit, there's people doing push-ups and like ha ha ha, like keeping, like you keep up with them for this 24 hours in like maybe a 7-minute little montage how they start their show, okay? At the end of it, say these people's hands are like tar, dude. Like, because they've just been dirty fucking quarters all day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They count like $30,000 to $40,000 in quarters over 24 hours. I know, it's nuts.
That's insane.
But hold on, it is insane.
But
here's the thing. At the 24-hour, like the next minute hand moves over, the door opens up, and they're all let out into the stage. Into like a studio audience of people and like music going, and like the host of the show is like a cruise ship host who's like, are we all having fun tonight?
Yeah, he's clean.
Right.
He smells good and all.
He's like if Nick Cannon was bought at a dollar store, Is the best way I could describe it. Just like you ever buy an action figure from like a dollar store or something? It's like no, you never did.
No, but I've seen them.
You've seen them though, at least like Dollar Tree, right? It's supposed to be John Cena, and it's just like a face, and it's not even close to who they're supposed to be. Or yeah, like 7 different colors of Power Rangers.
See the dollar stores. I grew up in Rogers Park. The dollar stores I would see shit like that at is the Mexican dollar stores up and down Clark Street.
Oh yeah, like what's that? Arizona tea or something like that.
It's like Arizona Dollar.
Dollar
or some shit like There's a handful. There's one right on the corner of where the Walgreens is, Clark and Rogers. There's that dollar store. I'm pretty certain they got a He-Man in there that looks like John Cena. A handful of toys that are just fake as shit.
Dude, I love the fact that you can go into one of those stores and turn a corner and all of a sudden it's a fucking rug shop or something.
Man, they got everything.
They have everything, dude.
You want rugs, you want body wash or shampoo, you want fucking deodorant, you want some air freshener.
You need yourself a snow globe.
Like, you hungry, you want a treat, you want some candy. Like shit, what else do they have? You need
a mattress.
You want a cool accessory for your home?
We got a mattress.
Sell mattresses.
Do you need lawn gnomes? It's crazy. But anyways, they bring these people out, right? And they leave their quarters in like the wheelbarrows, and then now they have to do tasks. They have to do stuff. So it's like, all right, everybody, get to your new station, and they all fucking are like bag-eyed and fucking like twitchy and shit from counting quarters for 20. Dude, that's like some Walking Dead torture. You know what I mean? It's like Negan made this show, and fucking they have to do something simple like thread 12 quarters or 12 quarters. Thread 12 needles. No, I couldn't say that. Thread 12 needles, and like whoever can do it the fastest gets automatic advancement. So they do these fucking tasks, and then the next round after it is, okay, if you think you were the loser, you can buy out, and we'll give you like $2,000 right now. Or you can see if you won and whatever. But it's like each task is weird, man. It's like drinking a fucking 40-ounce Big Gulp or like slushy. And it's like, do you think you can drink more than the people who got sleep last night? Is the whole theme of the show. Like, can you do something without sleep that people who are rested, like if you beat them, you get more money. If you don't, like it's just
so obviously. They're actually going against people that
they test people who had already slept earlier in the day. And like this is how quick they did it, and this is how much they got done. But one of them is my favorite fucking thing, dude. It's the best party game, and I recommend anyone listening to this, if you have like a garage or you don't care about your ceiling, do this, because this is fucking hilarious. They take balloons, okay? And these people are exhausted to the point of almost like drunk, to where everything, like lights are blurring, I'm sure, and like all their motor functions are just a little off because they're either super caffeinated and coming down, or like they're fucking in a zone, like that 3 a.m. when Family Guy's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they take this balloon. It's filled with like 7 or 8 quarters, and 3 or 4 single-dollar bills. And what they do is there's a fucking like little plate with nails coming off of it, and they have to stand underneath of it, throw the balloon up to where it pops on the nails, and then the quarters fucking fall at their face, and they have to grab as many dollar bills as they can. So these people who are exhausted. This is the first episode, dude.
I don't know.
They take the balloon. This old lady grabs the balloon, throws it up, and it pops, and she gets pelted with like 12 quarters right in her fucking face.
Imagine swallowing.
Just like pow. She's trying to grab these dollar bills.
They're just talking shit about it. She's choking on the ground.
She grabbed like 15 fucking balloons. She could barely throw them up there, and they fucking pop and fall and slap her in the fucking face and hits her in the eye and shit. And she gets like $2, and then at the end of it, they're like, all right, the person who got sleep got 15 single-dollar bills. And it's like, this person got 10, this person got 8, this person got 9, and Gladys got 3. And she's at the end, and she's just like shaking, dude, got a black eye from quarters. But she made it. Like somehow someone was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I won. So yeah, she made it through.
What the hell? Man?
Yeah, it's fucking weird, man. It just makes me wonder, like, how long until we're just at like Saw. You know what I mean? When's it just going to be like, we have rich investor who brought $1 million in a fucking briefcase, and we won't kill you. We'll give you free health. You know what I mean? We'll treatment, but for a $1,500, if you cut off the tip of your pinky on live television, Like, what do you think about that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's,
you go through. You have 2 doors to choose. One of them has 50,000 on the other side. The other has a gentleman holding a gun. your life or 50,000. Keep it simple. Like, actually, guys, I don't want to play this. There's no opting out.
It's just yes or no.
They're gonna have the paper that you signed. They're gonna have that shit like fucking framed. They're gonna have 3 copies of the original one.
The trick is though, is there's just always a guy with the gun on behind the door.
Yeah,
We wheel the money out of the way, and then the guy steps there with the gun.
No, one of them has the money, but you still gotta get it from him.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude.
I do want to tell you.
That's fucked up.
A short funny story
Go
about. I was with some friends, and one of them was talking about flying to Alaska. I guess that's his like retirement.
Okay.
And I don't know what age he was talking about doing this at, but he was talking about going to Alaska, getting flown there, and killing a bear with his hands, maybe like an axe or
with his hands.
With the weapon, no like guns or anything.
Borrow the knife.
No, I mean like he's talking about like a 2-handed axe and maybe a sword.
Why? We have bears here. Why do you have to go to Alaska to do it?
Well, I guess it has to do with
polar bears.
Like no, kind of like not religion. What he believes in. He believes that killing this animal, he will be coming in the afterlife.
That's pretty cool.
And
like brother bear.
He's gonna go kill some cubs. But now he was talking about a grizzly bear.
He sees a grizzly bear and he's like,
fuck it.
Fuck it. And he goes for the cub. Jeez. That's morbid. That's cool.
But he was talking about that, I told him, I was like, you know what, I got a really good method for you. I was like, C4. I was
C4?
like, fuck it, just level the...
C4?
Just level the whole fucking woods.
Just level the whole fucking woods.
Just level the whole woods.
If you had to go toe-to-toe with, like, a sword or an axe, just some form of a blade, what animal, like... what exotic animal do you think you could genuinely take down? Giraffes excluded. I don't know. Giraffe might fuck you up. You get too close. I just said that.
Well, I definitely wouldn't even consider it a giraffe.
All right. I like giraffes, so I was trying to protect the species.
I'd say a wolf.
Yeah?
At least a wolf.
Dude, wolves are fucking scary.
Yeah, because, there are coyotes as well, but I'd say a wolf and a coyote, if anything. But, I mean, I wouldn't attack a horse.
Well, I wouldn't say a horse is an exotic creature.
Well, yeah, I guess when I'm thinking exotic, I won't last against a panther, a jaguar, a lion, maybe some cubs. I'll stand off against 10 cubs. I'll take them easily.
Do you think you could... Could you win a fight between 20 10-year-olds or 100 100-year-olds? Which room do you think you could knock out quickest?
Definitely the 100-year-olds.
You think you could take out 100 100-year-olds?
A couple in one hit, if anything.
Yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. All right. I like it. I like
Remember,
dedication.
The younger ones, they have more stamina. They're going to be quicker.
They are.
Yeah, they're going to
They also...
faster.
Kids go for the nuts, man.
Some of the 100-year-olds might break a hip, like trying to turn left.
Some of them might just die from the shock of it.
Yeah,
you probably only have to kill one of them for them all to be like, ah, and grab their hearts and fucking keel over. Oh man, this podcast is going exactly where I thought it would.
From the killing game shows.
Yeah. Fuck, that's funny. If I had to go up against an exotic animal with just like an axe or a blade or something. Komodo dragon. Yeah. I want to fight a dragon. I would fight a dragon. Just to say I did it. I'm sure I'd lose, too, because those things are bad motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're fast.
Could you imagine being at a coliseum and just watching a single Komodo dragon eat me?
I guess it depends on how large it is.
The whole time you're like, yeah, let's go Tyler. And then I fucking lose. And you're like, oh, he's getting his leg.
Whole time bet against you.
What's the over-under? It's pretty fucking good.
Bet on a false name, like under you.
Have you ever bet on sports?
I haven't actually, no.
No?
I've never played the lottery either.
I've never bet on sports either. I've played the lottery a couple times, but that was just because it was like hype. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, "Oh, there's a life changing money," and I was like, "I don't know if I'm just gonna change my life today." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I doubt it's gonna be me. But I got a sports betting story. A cousin of mine, right? He's a Packers fan, and he was at a Bears bar. Okay, and he was up, and he knew like the Packers were winning maybe fucking 40s to 0. I don't know the exact number, but say 40s to 0. And my cousin was about to fucking come up, apparently like $3,000. So excited. And somebody was like, I bet you, like, if the Bears, like, come back, he's trying to do something to him, you know what I mean? Like, just something that's going to fucking fuck your life up. And he was like, let's go. I'll take that bet. And he ended up taking a bet to shave all the hair on his head, completely bald, eyebrows, lashes, beard, hair,
Oh, shit.
completely bald, naked face. And he was like, you're fucking on, dude. And he took the bet. And in the fourth quarter with like fucking 4 minutes left or some shit, the Bears had the fucking craziest comeback and won the fucking game. And we got a call from him. And my cousin was like, what's up, man? How are you feeling? And the cousin who lost the bet was like, you just come over and shut the fuck up. And like hung up. And so we drive over there, and he's wearing a fucking hoodie, glasses, and like just holding his face to where like this, you know what I mean? And he starts to take it all off. And he had as much hair as I do right now, and the beard, and like all of it. Completely like fucking
like extraterrestrial.
Oh, dude, it was weird as fuck. He looked like Voldemort, bro. He looked like Voldemort.
Voldemort, oh shit.
Yeah, dude, it was disgusting. He looked like fucking powder.
Watch out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. Oh man, that's what I decided I would never fucking do sports betting. I've heard too many people fucking lose it all for stupid shit.
Yeah, I'm not fucking with.
He called off work for like 2 weeks, dude. They were nice enough apparently to let him keep his eyelashes, and we're like, you didn't try to like run. And he's like, dude, there was like 80 people at this fucking bar in Bears gear. Like, where the fuck am I gonna go? I'm the only Packers
they're
fan.
gonna grab him.
Yeah, yeah. It was small town, dude. Fucking nuts.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking if I'm gonna bet on a game, maybe some money, but none of that. Like shaving some shit off. I couldn't imagine. And he is lucky to have gotten those 2 weeks off because, oh man, like that Voldemort joke would hit hard.
Oh, dude, it was the worst I've ever seen a human being. Like, just the worst. Like I've seen.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Like Frank when he was lathered in baby oil trying to be pure. A fucking hole that just completely shaved everywhere.
It was exactly like it. So, folks, Bobby is a certified repair man for virtually all kinds of mobile devices, I do believe, and then some. So, Bobby, what is your favorite device?
In general, or to repair?
We can do both. You can start with whichever one is the easier answer.
To repair, LG devices are for the most part, almost any LG device. Those are my favorite to repair. But the G and V series, if anything, those are the flagship phones. My favorite phone in general would definitely be the Asus Zenfone series. They did just release the 6, which was, I think it started at about $600, but they actually put it on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale, but I'm sure it will go on sale again. So about $600, or it could be less. But that's a really good price for a flagship phone, something in that manner. Because other phones, like the cheapest iPhone, which is the iPhone XR, amongst the series that's what you would consider a premium flagship phone, is like $750, and that's $150 more. And a lot of times too, there's a website called B&H. I think you can just go to B&H. B&H Photo Video. I think it's bnh.com you can go to. But they sell smartphones on there. They sell a lot of Asus phones. But a lot of times they give gift cards with purchases. You get like $100 gift card or $50, $75 gift card with the purchase.
Decent.
And so you can get an accessory alongside that, because they sell a whole bunch of other electronics, like audio related, phone related, tablet related. But specifically, they also sell cameras. A lot of camera accessories. So a great place to purchase it from. But other devices you can't usually get anything like that, and they're starting at like $1,000. But that's what we consider a flagship phone. For me personally, phone wise, amongst the manufacturers, fuck them all. They all do bullshit, well, at least the most common ones. There's a lot of Chinese manufacturers that are trying to do like good by their customers, but a lot of the manufacturers that are assembled in the U.S. or that are mainly sold in the U.S. but are still actually come from overseas, like Samsung and hell, even Apple. And like every product is made overseas, but they're sold largely in the U.S. They all like a lot of the things they do with their phones are, in my opinion, unnecessary at times. But Apple, especially, they've been designing a lot of their smartphones, whereas things are bound to fail just based on its design, and that boils all the way down to the engineering. And I'm talking about design of the motherboard on pretty much all of their devices. Since the 6 Plus, a lot of their Plus series have been having issues with the motherboard. And the crazy thing is it's the same exact issue that they've had but it's with 2 different chips. And what's happening makes sense. But working on motherboards themselves is not common because it is extremely difficult. I can't work directly on a motherboard. Really? I can replace charging ports, but outside of that, but no chips, no fuses. Because it's considered micro soldering, which is pretty much soldering, but on a micro level, and it is extremely difficult. So when you have a device where the motherboard is designed in a manner in which that it may or may not fail in the future, you happen to just take that risk, and it's all because of how they design the motherboard. Really? So it's the kind of thing that no matter that you could not have caused it to happen. So it's the kind of, you may have an iPhone 8 Plus, and then one day this specific thing stops working, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to purchase a whole new phone. Hope you have insurance or Apple Care.
Damn.
And shit like that sucks. But people don't really know that because this information isn't made public. This is information I personally seek out, and I seek it out because it allows me to know what's going on within these phones, because there aren't motherboard schematics. There aren't like things that I can identify what is on the motherboard, like in each area. It's important to know that because as a cell phone repair technician, because then I can understand why something is failing. Because usually there's like Bluetooth chips on the motherboard. Sometimes wireless chips are on the tablet. Stuff like that.
Right. That's some Tony Stark talk, man.
No, God no.
Yeah, I did. The Radio Shack we worked at had a kind of like a cell phone repair station, which was pretty fucking sweet because we got all these cool little toolkits and shit, and there was just new stuff to fuck with basically, and there was a really nice chair to sit down in, which I was never gonna not sit in if I could, but one of our coworkers was a bit of a fucking tool.
Sean.
I don't want to put his name, don't want to put his business in the news.
Don't give no fuck.
Jonathan as well. That guy was a fucking tool. These are pretty common names. But anyways,
it's kind of funny when he would fuck up iPads.
Oh my god!
Because I knew it was irreparable. It was so funny because he didn't know how to explain it, but I knew.
Did you?
Yeah, like a lot of the shit he would do. That's the thing about Apple devices. In my opinion, there's no such thing as an easy cell phone repair. There may be a straightforward one, and with Apple devices, they are pretty much straightforward. There's 5 things you need to do to replace the screen on pretty much all Apple devices. And with the iPhone X series, there's 3 things you need to do. And but the thing is, they use screws that are not common, so you have to have the specific screw. And on top of that, you have to put them in the proper area that they're supposed to go into, because the way they designed the motherboard and the screw alignments is, if you put the wrong screw in a certain area, you'll scratch the motherboard, and it could damage it to the point where it is just not going to work anymore. Typically, just a small scratch is all it takes. Done.
Oh yeah. Well,
and
I was in charge of.
Difference.
I was in charge of also doing that. Like, fucking Radio Shack paid me and the other dude to go out to fucking Indiana and fucking set everything up.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And that was the worst thing ever, dude.
Was wild.
We were supposed to get a ride from Chicago to Indiana.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
from Evanston to Indiana by the district manager. And that motherfucker, fucking Marker, decided to not show up at 5 in the morning and called a fucking Lyft or like an Uber to pick us up and take us from here to Bumblefuck, Indiana at like 5 in the morning. That guy was getting ready to end for the night, and he decided he had to drive like an hour and 30 minutes, and then it was like an hour and a half back. It might even been longer than that. I think it might have been 2 hours.
I did hear that story.
Dude, it was fucking weird to be on the interstate with somebody and be like, the dude I was with was like, hey man, are you gonna get like, do they take care of you on rides like this? Like, they pay you for your way back? And he was like, no. And we're like, fuck. And like me and him are looking at each other and we're like, should we just like leave this dude some tip? Like, what if Matt doesn't fucking tip him? And we were like, shit.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to give money out of pocket. It was fucking dumb, dude. But it was a fun little time out in Indy. Learned how to fuck with Android and Apple devices, take them apart and put them together.
Now, when you were out there, how did the training go? Did they give you devices and tell you to take them apart and get to know each part?
Well, it was a super corporate thing, but the guy who was in charge of doing it, it seemed like he was doing it so much that he just genuinely didn't fucking care. And like he basically got fucking paid to go on vacation to Indiana for like 5 months and do trainings. And when they were fucking given the class, everyone would get an Android device for one day, Apple device for another day, and we were there for 4 or 5 days. And the hotel they set us up at was like maybe 10 minutes from the spot, like this little conference room they had us in, and they would walk us through it for like 4 hours and slowly take everything apart with like somebody. He was kind of over our shoulder at this point and on like one of the Elmos, you know what I mean, the projectors. And so we're watching it and shit, and he's going very slow, but he's like also kind of being a dick about it and just being like, if you fuck this up, like, you just came here for nothing, and like, then they're not going to pay you for coming here because you got to pass it to get paid. He's like, so y'all just didn't work for a week, and you're not going to get paid if you don't pass it. So what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Get it done.
Damn, that guy must hate his life.
Kind of, but I think it was also like maybe the 9th or 10th week in a row that he's had to do this. I don't know. He's just kind of seemed burnt out of it. But yeah, we take it apart.
What he is called is a I think a master technician is what they call it.
Yeah, master tech.
But like,
I have my Radio Shack certificate around here. Actually, I found it the other day.
The thing about that position is you have to be really good.
Oh yeah, and I was not. The only reason I even got sent there is because somebody else had to go.
Well, it's not the kind of thing that you just get into automatically. Jonathan was at Jonathan. Oh, I gotta give it. Well, shouldn't be saying this. I gotta give it.
I know. I'll go back and cut names.
He is really smart. Like,
yeah,
I will give that to him. Like, he's definitely earned that position because he taught. You know, he and I talked a lot about like, and honestly, like, fuck cell phone repair. I'm all about computer repair. I just do this shit. This is my bread and butter right now. But I'm all about computer repair. And but he definitely told me like a bunch of useful shit, especially when it comes to Apple devices, because the information is just not out there. Especially when it comes to Apple devices, like, you can sometimes find it with the right person on YouTube, but when it comes to the internet as a whole, everybody has their own opinion on shit. I swear to God, you always tend to find multiple ways to do shit. Sometimes there are multiple ways to do things with the phone, but typically no, there's just one way.
Remember when our best fix-it guy would have to sneak out the back with the device and go over to Gadget Works and like bang on the door and be like, can you help me do like micro soldering in like 20 minutes while this lady's getting coffee? And the guy would fucking roll his eyes and be like, yeah, let's go. Like, and he'd get everything done. That was fucking nuts, man. We had a really great fucking life there for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That was a cool time period. It was like a year and a half, 2 years of like
the lack of cameras was awesome.
Lack of cameras was ridiculous, dude. And like barely anything ever got really stolen, and like we really never got like assaulted or anything. I just remember always thinking that, like, man, what if someone just came in here and just like started wrecking house?
Well, are you kidding? Dude, a lot of shit got stolen.
A lot of shit got stolen.
I personally, to be honest, I didn't steal anything. I did, like, at the very end, I went on a little shopping spree.
Oh,
I give the F-bomb to,
I plead
but
the
like
fifth.
that's the thing. Like there was a lot of times where there was a lot of people in there, and everyone's occupied. You know, people tend to always be coming in and out. But it was so easy for people to just get away with it, and you know, especially like if shit wasn't locked up. But that's the thing; it wasn't always like the most expensive shit because it was locked up. They can't really get to it.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of neat. Kind of fucking neat. So, got some questions for you, buddy.
Sure.
Go bald or get a cavity every time you ate something with sugar in it.
Go bald.
Bald?
Yeah.
You look dope as fuck bald, dude.
Oh my god, a friend of mine asked me to shave me bald. I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
You used to have the
Like,
mohawk.
shave me bald.
What happened to the mohawk?
Well, it's gotten a little too warm for that. But so I'm trying to keep it low. I need to get a haircut.
Would you rather
at
have
this point?
Would you rather have more time or more money?
More money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's enough time in a single lifetime, in my opinion.
Do you remember those old shows on like fucking that were like 1 hour dramas, but they're trying to be like Hallmark horror movies? Kind of like Tales of the Crypt, but for fucking like ABC Family and shit. Do you remember on Nickelodeon a show called Alone in the Dark?
No,
You never saw Alone in the Dark?
I've watched like some Nickelodeon shows, but usually they're cartoons. Never like was this live action?
Yeah.
I've never watched any of the live.
You never
action,
watched any of the live actions,
nor of the ABC live action like shows. None of that. I've watched Tales from the Crypt. That was my shit.
What was your shows?
Svengoolie was funny.
Well, yes, Svengoolie.
Like
I didn't
all the
live.
shows. I love the Three Stooges. Will always be one of my favorites. I watched a lot of Seinfeld. Third Rock from the Sun, another favorite of mine. Friends was alright. I watched a little bit of that. But
what was like your after school show? Like, I need to get home and watch this shit.
Didn't really have one when I was like a teenager. When I was a kid, Arthur was one of my favorite shows to watch. Yeah, Arthur. It was like a whole slew of shows. Arthur, Clifford, Caillou was cool.
Damn, man. We were on different channels. You were on that PBS level, and I was over on like Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I watched a lot of PBS shows, but I did watch like SpongeBob, Hey Arnold.
Oh fuck yeah!
Recess was another favorite of mine.
In
the Wild Thornberries.
Wild Thornberries, some shit as well. In Rick and Morty, there's actually a call to recess. I don't know if have you ever caught that?
No.
It's the episode where Summer and Rick are super jacked and they're going through like time beating the shit out of people. In one of the scenes, they're at recess and they're beating the shit out of the snitch kid, but he's all grown up. Yeah. It's fucking great, man. I'll send you the clip.
Episode you're talking about. I've watched a ton of Rick and Morty. I know which one you're talking about.
Would you rather have your destiny decided by a random group of people or an automated machine?
An automated machine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You'd think it's hopefully programmed for a happy ending, you know?
Well, I'd assume... Well, that's the thing about the machine. Like, I guess it would be enough of how random could a machine really be compared to like a human conscious? I'd expect everyone to want it to be a good ending, but what if the machine only gives bad endings, but endings that are not bad, as in like you die terribly, just like not as good as what a human opinion would be.
Right.
But the reason I said machine would be because the human opinion can be like it can go so many ways with a human opinion compared to a machine. A machine is at random and it just chooses at random. Compared to a human, there's elements of humanity that's added to their decisions, their choices. Because now this kind of makes me think about like when it becomes like if it were a dystopian society where there's like a handful of people that makes decisions for like this entire half of the earth or some shit like that.
Yeah. Now here's the question though: if you were recruited,
Minority Report.
If you were recruited to be one of the random people, like random 5 brought in a room to look over somebody's life, and let's just say they gave you maybe like a file with like a paragraph that sums up this person, would you be comfortable taking that position, or would you think like you'd always just be like, just fucking with people?
Like,
I don't know. At a certain point, when you get bored with your job, you just want to do something weird for an hour.
Like prisoner 6-2, kill him,
kill him.
No, I'd actually make a legitimate decision.
Oh man,
you know, if I hear the word pedophile, that's all I need. You know, there's a few words that's all I need to hear.
Would you
make that quick decision?
Would you rather rescue your pet from a burning building, or a neighbor you genuinely like?
My pet.
Yeah, your pet.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Oh, of course, hell yeah.
Do you have pets?
I do. I have a dog. My family, we've like had a turtle. We still have the turtle. One of the family members have them.
Yeah.
Or has it. But I just have a dog. That's it.
Now, how many dogs have you? Have you had multiple dogs, or is this your first pet?
Now, I've had 2 dogs. One of them I let live with this family that I knew, and their parents wanted to adopt the dog because they were all moving back to live within the same area. They live in Chicago. They were moving back, so I let them take one of the dogs, and I kept the other one.
So those dogs are still fucking. How old was? Did you get them both at birth, pretty much?
No, one of them. Both of them, my brother kind of brought to me, and I ended up being their caretaker. You know, I've always loved their presence, but one of them was a puppy when he was around us, and the other one was, I don't know how old she was. She was rescued.
My first dog's name was Buddy, right? And I only named this dog that because of Air Bud, and I felt super bad because, like, looking back on life and shit, I remember that for the first, like, 5 to 6 months that I had that dog, I used to just throw a basketball at its fucking face and see, like, not fast, but like, hey buddy, over here, and like I'd like bring him over and he'd be like, and like run over to me and I'd be like, you ready? And he'd just be sitting there and I'd fucking toss a ball up, just expecting him to be like, arf, and like fucking hit it and fucking put it in. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? He was just getting fucking and fucking shake his head. And I was like, oh, come here. And I was like, and I'd fucking bounce it off my head and be like, come on, learn.
Something smaller than
I was
basketball.
fucking an idiot kid.
A tennis ball is usually a good idea.
But don't
they use tennis balls in Air Bud?
Like, probably.
Like, I don't think they use. Well, I know Air Bud played basketball.
No, when it was tennis balls, he was holding the racket.
Were you trying to get your dog to play basketball?
Yeah, dude, I was trying to get my dog to play basketball out in the middle of nowhere. I lived in a fucking cornfield, dude. I had like no one around, and like I couldn't go anywhere because I was fucking 6 or 7, you know.
My buddy, I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I see the movie. Only times as long as this is your name, it should work. Let's do this.
We are not in the city. Like this has got to be it.
Now, fucking.
What kind of dog was it?
It was a half German Shepherd, half Border Collie. But you said coyote earlier, or we were talking about those animals, and we mentioned coyote. There was one night where I was sleeping in my room with my little brother. We shared a room, and fucking all of a sudden I heard my dog just like outside, right? And I go and get my dad because my dog is fighting something, okay? And wake him up, bring him out, and we turn the outside light on, and there's 3 coyotes around my dog, and they're just fucking my dog up, biting at his ankles and shit. And he's like fucking, he's going to town. So my dad goes and get the shotgun and shit, you know, because we had it, because there was creatures and critters about, you know, fucking coyotes would just run out of these cornfields, dude. They would fucking stalk in them. And yeah, sure enough, our dog never slept outside virtually after that. Like, he might occasionally, but yeah, he's like, fuck you guys, I'm inside tonight. Like, that's pretty scary out there. But dude, they were fucking him up, and then they were like humping him and shit, dude. Like, they were all fucking crazed. They were crazed.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm gonna fucking.
They were crazed, dude.
I might kill you, but I
was like 7 or 8, looking out a fucking picture window of my dogs, and my dad being like, "Get off my fucking dog!" And like fucking and like shooting at him and shit, but trying not to hit our dog. He ended up fucking hitting one of them with a baseball bat. And that was a moment where I was like, my dad's got fucking big dick energy. Because, like, to hit a coyote with a baseball bat, that's some Genghis Khan shit, man. But, yeah. He ended up living a good life. His hips deteriorated. That was a big problem with those dogs.
What kind of... Oh, yeah, you told me that. What kind yeah, that's a real killer there.
It's so weird how, like, creatures have different diseases.
Yeah, there's each one... Not each one, but... well, not even... Yeah, for the most part, almost every breed is susceptible to some sort of major disease. Especially corgis. I know someone that has a corgi and ended up getting some sort of like stomach disease that is common amongst corgis, like can commonly happen. It just so happened to be that corgi. They took care of him, treated him well. He's still alive, he's doing well, but needed like surgeries and like all kinds of shit.
If you had the power to do so, would you rather give a homeless person a job or give them a place to live for free for the rest of their life?
A job.
Yeah. There's so many, like, things that the common person who's alright in life, or at least alright to an extent, have over homeless people, to where it's like, that's probably one of my biggest fears, is to be, like, genuinely... like homeless or like crazed homeless, you know what I mean? I know it's great that like people are alive and stuff, but wasn't there a state that's talking about legalizing euthanasia? Have you heard anything about that?
No. One of those.
There was some part of the world, at least. I was reading fuck, I gotta start like remembering the articles and shit, or at least pulling them up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that fucking so specific. There's news out there, but sometimes I just hear back the stories. I'd give him a job, too. Die happy in 10 years or unhappy in 50?
Happy in 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That one's kind of vague. I don't think there's really a criteria of, like, but you can be happy later. It's just when you die, it's like, happy birthday. Like, ah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or, like, you're on the roller coaster and you're like, hey! God, you don't want to die getting your dick sucked, man. It's just, maybe you do. I haven't experienced it.
You got assassinated.
Tell your significant other that you've had a love child with someone else, or hide it from them for the rest of your life.
I would hide that shit.
Yeah, you'd hide that shit. Yep, just put it to the side. My grandpa actually, on my dad's side, he had a second family. It was weird. I wasn't around to see it, but yeah, he died young.
I've never been related to anyone like as such, anything like that. But
yeah, it was. I got some fucking stories, dude.
Yeah, that can be very weird.
The people I grew up around, they all have an interesting story, and I'm very happy that I got to be around a lot of people's drama bullshit that they hate, because it makes a great fucking story, man. Like, it keeps me busy at parties. Would you rather lose all your teeth or lose one eye?
All my teeth.
All your teeth.
Yeah, because I then try to replace it with like gold teeth or something.
That'd be dope.
Maybe like something that's sharp. Maybe some fangs.
Cyberpunk it out. All right, yeah. I was thinking the eye at first because I would get a cool fucking eye patch. But I can just get a cool fucking eye patch.
Yeah,
you
exactly. Keep your eye. Don't take it off when you take it off when you go to sleep. Your eye will still be there.
You know what I mean? Oh, fuck.
I'm still thinking about that die happy. What was it? Die happy in 10 years?
Die happy in 10 or die unhappy in 50. But that's like some fucking butterfly effect like question where it's like, if you would have taken the 10 years, like, yeah, you would have like a happy thing. But if you would have taken the 50, like, your partner or like the love of your life would also have gotten extended, and you die when you find out they had 50 years left, and you're sad at their funeral and you get to die together. It's like, fuck.
I would actually say 50 years. Only because if I'm wholly unhappy, the one thing that will always make me happy is video games, and that's the one thing that'll probably always be around.
Just play sad video games, man. Play like Left 4 Dead's, or not Left 4 Dead's, The Last of Us, and just keep playing that.
Well, hell no, I'd play like Borderlands if they keep making them. Whatever CD Projekt Red is putting out, whatever Bethesda is putting out.
All right, we're getting to a real nitty gritty one. You ready?
Go for it.
Thank you again for doing this, man.
Oh,
I
no
love that we
problem.
finally get to do this. Because this is the kind of shit we would do at Radio Shack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'd
for
find
sure.
a Would You Rather list and just fucking sit there and wait and watch. We had this beautiful view of downtown Evanston in like a panorama like fucking shot just because of those glass windows
Yeah.
that looked out into a
There
busy
was a lot of
street.
them.
But a lot of the times we weren't really slammed with people. Like, maybe an iPhone launch or something, but on a slow Tuesday, like, we had nothing better to do than fucking reposition batteries and fucking make sure for the 13th time we don't have the specific fucking phone case. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So this is a good one. Keep the baby, even if it means living below the poverty line, or give it up for adoption with the hope that he or she will have a better life.
I would give, well, the adoption thing. If I were to do the adoption thing, it would solely be based on whether or not I'm capable of supporting that. Well, yeah, I guess if I'm not capable of supporting that child at that time, I would still oversee like the adoption, like try to make sure like if I can try to like find someone that would be willing to like seek out on my own. Like I figured they might have there might be a way to find like people that are looking to adopt children. So I would personally look into that.
How long have you lived in Chicago?
Shit, my whole life.
Whole life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and
Where
raised.
is the closest orphanage to us?
I don't know. I honestly
Dude,
don't.
I've never seen an orphanage
I
in
know
Chicago.
there are a few like what they call halfway houses around, and
I'm talking
a
like-
rehabilitation center.
like
but
a fucking what was it, Madeline or some shit, like an actual like here's the big building like in Matilda or some shit, a giant building of orphans. Never seen it.
I think if anything, if those buildings were around before our time, they most likely would have been converted into other things. Because have you seen the there's a Buddhist temple, I believe,
On Clark?
near Clark, and I think might be Pratt, but it looks like what would have been an orphanage or like would have been some sort of temporary home. But it's it may have been redesigned. But I think a lot of those there's a lot of buildings around here that used for different things now.
I have Googled it, and there are, like, orphanages, don't get me wrong. Like, these places do exist, folks. Don't be like, what the fuck? I've never seen an orphanage, and he's right. Where the fuck are these
this
kids?
neighborhood.
But, dude, what if we totally started, like, a
China's so
hashtag,
big.
like, where are the kids, and we just start
Where
calling it
the
out?
kids at?
We're just like, where are the
Where they-
orphanages at?
Eventually,
You guys know where
the
your
hashtag
orphans
will
are
be
in your
out, where it'll
town?
be.
Never get promoted in a job, but receive guaranteed stability, or promoted with the risk of getting laid off.
Promoted with risk of getting laid off. I can always go somewhere else. I can always have enough of that promotion and decide to leave on my own.
Live 10 years in isolation to make $10 million, or live with your loved ones but make $20K a year for the rest of your life.
Isolation.
Isolation?
Hell yeah.
You go in the tank,
I'll
you
be
go
like-
in the bubble.
I'll be like Prince Noctis, take 10 years off, rekindle my spirituality,
Dude, you'd come out with a fucking
become
12
stronger
pack.
mentally, physically, all around.
You'd be able to levitate with just that kind of dedication.
I'll
being
always
like,
be levitating.
always
Like,
levitating.
it'll look as if I'm walking, but then you'll blink and you'll see me levitating. You'll blink again and I'll be walking.
Would you rather be able to bend elements, or just have a higher knowledge and capability for electronics and technology?
You mean like elements as in
Like
earth
yeah.
elements?
Would you rather be like a firebender, or like actually have the power to like move the wind and like have there constantly be a pressure underneath you to like fly or float? Or would you rather be fucking like Tony Stark? I just figured time travel, like, or something crazy.
I would do the earth elements.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which of the elements would you want to specifically be good at?
See, realistically, I would go with earth.
Yeah.
Because then I believe that will allow me to, shape this planet. Like I may be able to become strong enough to be able to shape this planet and do things like with the earth. Otherwise, like fire, because I love fire. Just be able to. I don't know what good would fire really do me unless I go on and decide to take over the fucking world. like go take that isolation for 10 years in Alaska and literally increase the temperature of the entire state of Alaska. That's how
Turn
great
it
my
into
fire
fucking
bending will
Florida.
be, and then I'll just take over the whole world. But yeah, that's why I would do Earth. Mainly because of realistic terms, like if I can because manipulate the Earth, if I can be able to do it for the good of the Earth, then I'll definitely make that a priority.
Get you. I like that, man. Commute for 2 hours a day and earn a large salary, or no commute and earn minimum wage.
Commuting large salary.
Fuck, 2 hours, 4 hours a day of fucking being on the train. I see people all the time when I'm on the Metro or the Amtrak's. And I see people who are like, I'm going to be here for a minute.
Imagine that for 2 hours.
You always see the hardcore passengers, too, who have, an official fucking booklet, and it's like they flip through all their tickets, and I'm like, damn, you live out in Brookfield or something. Like, you're going where? Oh, fuck. Like, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah, they even got passes for it as well, so if you're going to take it that often. But that's how it tends to be. Like, sometimes the best jobs are, out in the suburban areas.
Write a book about your life, or someone who hates you make a movie about your life?
Well, of course, I'd write my own book.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a given. That's just a given.
Yeah.
Lazy questions.
And with that being said, I'll talk shit about the person that I would have chosen in the book that I write.
Get a random tattoo or get a random piercing?
Random tattoo.
Have you seen that MTV show where they get people to, two friends or two people who are connected somehow, go to a tattoo parlor and they have to put a blindfold on and they pick each other's tattoos and they can literally do whatever they fucking want?
I think I've seen a clip of that, but I don't know what it's called. But I have seen a clip of something and they came out terrible. They were all
they're all fucking
all terrible.
Oh my god!
And then the people, of course, they were like,
oh, what? Why'd you do this? We went on a show where it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, they thought it was gonna be cool and shit. Nope.
There was a guy I saw in one of the clips flipping through fucking Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, folks, at HIGHANDHELLO Podcast. Anyways, he went with his girlfriend, who is the third girlfriend he's had major relationship, and apparently the first two all fell out in a bad way, but there's a baby right on his tattoo with a fucking weird fucked up face, really fucked up face. And then there's three shadowy figures behind the baby holding knives up at this kid. Shit. And he's like, why did you do this to me? Why'd you put this on me? And she's like, well, I just wanted you to understand that I want us to have a baby. Everyone else wanted the baby, but that's me, and you can see me in the middle. And he's like, but why are you holding the knife? Dude,
I want a baby, so
she's psycho, dude. She just gives this weird excuse. And that's entertainment now, man. How fucking weird is that?
See, that's how you know. I don't
weird is that?
I honestly don't watch television in general. I try to keep up with the news, but local news I sometimes watch for what's going on locally. Otherwise, I use the internet for a few different news outlets. Other than that, I just watch old TV shows.
Growing up, though, did you ever fucking have an MTV show that you'd watch? Were you ever I'm gonna watch TRL, or I'm gonna watch fucking Flavor of Love, or I'm gonna watch fucking
I did watch a lot
and
of
MTV had a lot of
that
fucking crazy shows. The New York show was fucking hilarious as well. Flavor of Love, Flavor Flav was near my hometown and made a chicken restaurant. And it ended up closing down 2 days after it opened because he ran out of money. And one of the kids I worked with at that video store, Video Villager, He was working for this chicken shack, and they ran out of chicken on the opening day. So him and Flavor Flav got in a car, and he drove to the grocery store. And in this fucking town of like, I don't know, maybe 20,000 people, all of a sudden Flavor Flav's just at the grocery store buying all the chicken.
Yeah.
All of it. Like
where else
buying
would it
them
be
the
going?
fuck out of everything they had and just loading it up, and he dropped like $4,000 on chicken. It was like, bye, and just fucking went back to his restaurant to like, here we got chicken now, keep making it. And yeah, he ended up like, they didn't pay people for like fucking the 5 or 6 days they were open. So it was fucking chaos. But yeah, that kid had a weird Flavor Flav story.
I would have wrecked that fucking store. I was like, no pay? Okay. I would have took my apron off, slammed that shit on the ground. I would have got to work.
Dude, I heard from another person that there's this pub in Evanston and Smiley Brothers. You know Smiley Bros?
Yeah, I've never been there, but I have heard of it.
Who was the Bears quarterback? Jay Cutler. When that place opened, I guess he was like an investor or something. And
wow.
yeah, they were having this thing for the Bears, and Jay Cutler was there, and fucking his kids kept trying to climb into the pizza oven, like the brick oven.
Man,
like,
they're all dumbasses.
And everyone in the restaurant's like, please, like, get out of there, like grabbing him
like,
and setting him down.
What kind of fucking kids trying to go into a pizza?
Well,
oven?
this is just it. Like he was drunk as fuck and he got pissed off. He's like, "Hey man, if my kid wants to go in there, he can go in there." And he's like, "Dude, it's a fucking pizza oven."
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's my kid, man. Just let him fucking hang out." And they're like, "Okay." But like he was getting like salty with the staff and shit because his kid kept fucking trying to climb in the goddamn pizza oven.
Yeah. Jay Cutler. I swear, never liked them.
Kiss the ugliest person at school or kiss a teacher?
Teacher.
Who was your hottest teacher?
Her name was Miss Devolantes.
What? Say that again.
Miss Devolantes.
Miss Devolantes?
Yes.
It's like 14 vowels in that name, dude.
She was a Latina teacher. She's fucking all kinds of spicy.
All kinds of. What'd she teach though? Did she teach Spanish?
No, actually, I believe she taught math.
Math teacher, sexy math teacher.
Yeah.
Damn, son. I never got that. That's fucking fantastic. This is an interesting one for you. Swim through a pool of snakes or spiders. And I'm not talking like Daddy Longlegs. I'm talking like genuinely like I'll fuck you up.
Camel
with
spiders?
a bite. Yeah, like a camel spider.
Fuck the snakes.
Snakes?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the spiders would have more of a chance of getting to me than the snakes.
I've been watching so many of those goddamn game shows lately that I'm picturing these in my head like this whole time. I'm like, there goes Bobby swimming through the snakes.
No, see, I can't do shit like that. See, I'll fuck around and like uppercut a handful of snakes and just like start breaking shit.
Incredible Hulk!
Get the fuck off of me.
Just Incredible Hulk your way through it.
I'm not gonna smooth through it swimmingly. I'm gonna force my way through that shit.
Without the internet for a month, or live without your phone for a month.
Without my phone for a month.
All right. Have your crush find out that you like them, or tell your crush that you like them. Are you an assertive presence in your desire?
I am now, actually. So yeah, I would tell them. Yeah, I would tell them.
Right up to them. We gotta go to the bar soon, man. I want a wingman for you. Know every answer to every test you'll ever take, or get free food at any restaurant you go to.
Know every answer for every test.
Damn.
I don't usually eat out, and I honestly would. I'm no master chef. I'm barely a chef, but I do prefer to cook my own foods.
I guess all that knowledge, that's like fucking having Winter Soldier knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like the Limitless guy. Bobby, where do you see the world in 10 years?
10 years?
In technology. What do you see being the things we're
I expect
going after?
Phones to be more expensive and to be more exquisite. Computer-wise, I expect it to be the same, but everything more upgraded. Processors smaller, RAM chips possibly smaller but faster. Maybe even some solid state. Well, they're already in solid state form, but just increases to things like that. When it comes to, I do see a lot of the technology playing a part in um, like helping the earth. Like, granted, things go a certain way. I think there's a lot of people that are willing to invest in use their technology to try to help the earth, like, you know, its temperature get back to normal, and you know, it's in a bad state right now. So,
Dude, Earth's whole situation is like if the bacteria was also trying to be the aspirin or like the medication. You know what I mean?
you know,
It's so fucking strange, dude.
that's how humanity treats like illnesses and diseases.
Right.
Like, it's medication, medicate it.
I can't think of any illness though that I've ever come across where it's just like, so what's that do to you? And it's like, oh well, it tries to kill you, but like most of it's also trying to kill itself and like heal the problem that it's causing. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's the thing about our organs. It's always our body in general. It's always working to keep things what it would be considered normal.
What effects did you see after giving up eating meat?
Um, Not a whole lot. I feel like I do heal a little bit faster than normal because I did do a handful of skateboarding and also even more falling. But a lot of times, like whenever I like fall or like I haven't broken anything, thankfully, but I've gotten a lot of scars, scrapes and shit. They've always healed quickly, like usually within a day or two. Like, and some of them were like a lot of blood dripping there.
I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I been reading about just fucking gut biomes and shit like that, and just really what goes into like processed foods in general. But my new cash money job is allowing me to eat fairly fresh and fairly healthy, and it's a really great presentation, and it's like a free meal every day, so I can't pass it up. So yeah, I've been thinking about just hopping off just meat in general, just going plant-based for like even 30 days just to like see the effects it has on it. So
that's actually how I started.
Yeah.
And for me personally, outside of any health benefits that it may incur, like based on, there have been like things proven that not eating meat like can help, and like I do have substitutes for where I get my protein, my vitamin A, my different vitamins. I take my vitamins in general. That's the one thing that's important when not eating meat. But me personally, I just feel like I tried it. Like I said, I tried it for 30 days, like. And then, I enjoyed it. And I ultimately decided that I can live without meat. Like, it's not something that I crave, like, that I have to have and that I can't live without. And so I decided just, like, well, for now, since, I can live without it, I'll just continue to live without it. And then here we are.
Right. All right, last question. You ready? Cry spicy tears or swallow spicy saliva?
I would never saw. Well, it would be my saliva.
Like what?
Whose saliva would it be?
I think it's just in general, because you can't cry someone else's tears.
Well, I'd assume someone else's saliva. Well, I guess it would be my own.
You swallow your own saliva.
Yeah, spicy saliva. I eat a shitload of spicy food. I love
spicy saliva. So like if you just constantly
I
had like
always willing to
a
take
mild
the
Taco Bell sauce just fountain going through.
Shit, it might even just be me eating a couple of the Diablo sauces just for the hell of it.
Just for fun.
I love spicy food. Like, but here's the thing about spicy food. I don't eat spicy food for like the heat. I'm never like interested in making the spiciest of foods. I think that what's most important about spicy food is that it complements like all of the flavors, and and I think it's also kind of a thing. Like, I'm Belizean American, and I am like Latino would be the closest type of ethnicity to me. I would be considered Latino, although Belize is underneath like Mexico, like just underneath it, but close enough to like within that region. And Latinos tend to like spicy food, and I just don't know why, but shit's good.
All right, man. So, hey, what is your message to the listener? You take a moment or two and fucking send it out to the world, man. Send a thought out to them. What do you want to share?
To the smartphone world, do not believe in Apple's lies. Apple will lie to you. They always lie. And they're very good at it. And their lawyers are very good at dodging questions. Watch some of the videos on YouTube of all the lawyers. Just search the internet for the lawsuits that Apple has been having. They've been having lawsuits with their phones, lawsuits with their MacBooks, especially their MacBooks. And it's, once again, problems that go right back to the engineering of their products. And they're actually, their chief, I think, engineering officer recently left to start his own company in California. But I think he might actually do good by his consumers. Because, with a company like Apple, I'm pretty certain that was more of a title than anything else. He may have came up with some good designs, and they took what they wanted out of it, filled in the rest, and that's what we have. There's your MacBooks, there's your iPhones, your Apple products.
Have you seen...
Apple is the devil.
Apple is the devil? I'm going to keep that as a drop. Have you seen Silicon Valley? You ever seen that show?
Yeah, I love it.
It's fucking great, man. Every time I see that Gavin Belson, it makes me think of Apple. I'm just like, fuck you.
I couldn't imagine doing all that coding.
Right.
Man. Those guys... And it's crazy because they're fucking crazy. They really do fucking code for hours on ends.
It's nuts. All right, man. Well, let's wrap this up. Let's go grab a drink somewhere. All right. Thank you very much, Bobby, for joining me today, man.
Thank you.
Gotta have you back on. Folks at home, I hope you had a good one. Be safe. Be kind. Check out that Awake show because it's fucking ridiculous, and I need to make sure this stays on. So let's get that some viewership. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Fuck Twitter because no one actually uses it. You can also follow us on Pornhub at HIGHANDHELLO, across the board, High and Hello Podcast. Google it. Check us out. YouTube, Instagram, all that good shit. Later. Oh, I gotta make herself a Reddit. Hi, Jess.
Locore, alegría. Oh, señorita, policía.